going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 70 of Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager tutorial. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and help me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got about a 19-minute episode. We're going to be picking up right where we left off, working on the exterior of the upper section of the saucer section. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. We're going to dive right into this thing. So, picking up where we left off, if you have not, you want to go ahead and we're going to be deleting out this next layer line. And we're going to bring that right up to this gray cut. That goes right up to our circuit board. We're going to be deleting everything out from there, and then we're going to be picking up right where we left off. Pretty sure that we went over that in episode 69, but just in case we didn't. So now we're going to be starting a new oval. And like I said, I know that this was slightly confusing. I hope that I explained it well enough for you guys. But I promise that I'll have this new process really worked out when we dive into the Excelsior. But really at this point, we're just adding in our layers to get our curvature correct on the top section of the saucer. This is something I struggled with a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, we are going to be coming back and redoing all three levels of the oval. But I want to make sure to include this into the tutorial because trial and error is vital to a ship build. And sometimes spinning your tires out, making mistakes is what's needed in order for you to land where you need to land. And not only that, I also want to make a point so that this way that we're all caught up in the same and on the same page. So for those reasons, we are going to include the trial period just for this. But just to give a spoiler for what we're going to be getting into, when we're done with this, what we're going to notice as you're zooming out is that our transition lines for our cut angle for the top section of the saucer, the oval's not going to be correct. It's going to need a little bit of work. And basically what's happening is that because I'm trying to wing it, and I really, at this point, I should be using a pixel circle generator to do this. Now, with that being said, I mean, for those of you that do this step and you look at it and you're like, you know what? I'm happy enough with this as it is. I don't need to make any other changes. I'm just going to run with it. Those of you that want to do that, feel free to go ahead and do that. You know, that's a wonderful thing about building and customization. You can do whatever it is that you want. And anybody that tries to be a gatekeeper and tell you that you can't do that because it doesn't match canon or whatever else, tell them to kick rocks. Because, I mean, if we're not having fun, what is the point of really doing all this? At least that's just my attitude. So that's why I'll take some of the liberties I end up taking here and there because, you know, at the end of the day, I just want to have fun doing this. And like it's crazy too because going back to like when I first started building starships and just building in Minecraft in general, I probably would have liked to have avoided going through all these mistakes and learning how to do this stuff. But at the same time, those mistakes, they really were vital in getting where we needed to be. But you know, like I said, it just kind of is what it is. This is why I think one of the reasons why my tutorials are different than other people that are doing it. I show you guys everything. Because I'm not trying to keep this information from anybody. You know what I mean? If somebody gets something out of these videos and they're able to learn how to build better, I think that's nothing but a good thing. You know what I mean? And I've never been one to hold information from people. In fact, I hate it. It's one of the reasons why originally I started building on here originally to begin with, because I couldn't find anybody that actually had a fleshed out tutorial on how to build out a Constitution class enterprise. And then fast forward 12, 15 years later, and here we are. But no, I've really been enjoying this. Doing these tutorials is a lot of fun. I really can't complain. And the whole customization in these ships, it really is a lot of fun. So anyway, hopping in back in a little bit what we got going on here, we're going to take off a couple more layers, and really what we're going to do is everything going outward on this oval line, going forward to that cut that we made on the left and right, we're going to be deleting that row of blocks, and it's the same height from that we're currently built on. So you don't want to build down any lower than that. Also, we're going to be filling in our center. I started working on it, so you want to go ahead and do that too. So we'll be taking off all the full blocks on this line, on this row that we're on, as well as the half slabs. You don't want to come down and delete any further blocks. So that's not looking too bad. Like I said, you make a decision. That's really what all this is. Coming up and making a decision as far as what we're going to do to fix things. Now, I am going to be trying to fix our oval here, and we're going to be spinning our tires a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm making a vital mistake at this point because, again, I'm trying to wing this oval based somewhat off the template that I currently have, which you can technically do. But what's happening is that it's causing my oval to get distorted, and it's not nearly as perfect or as good as it would look if we used a pixel circle generator. I'll be the first one to admit that I can wing doing ovals, but if you go to a pixel circle generator, the larger you go, chances are the pixel circle generator is going to do a better job. That's just in my own experience. So I think rule of thumb, which may just be a really good idea at this point, to add it into our rules when we're building circles and ovals. Pixel circle generator. Just going to do it at this point. We're not going to be doing any more of this winging it. Because what ends up happening is that part of me is like, well, no, I can do this. I can wing it. I've done enough ovals and circles where I know the patterns, which is true. But, you start building these things out, the larger you go, you run the risk of distortion, especially when you have multiple layers. They're not all going to match up as well as they should. Now, if we keep playing with it, maybe we could get at that point, through that trial and error. But I just think at this point, probably just be a lot easier to just line up the center of our saucer, and then based off our starting points and getting our width in place, and then going back to the pixel circle generator and then putting in those dimensions and then just rebuilding it out. To me, that will end up being what we're ultimately going to do, but it just, like I said, falling on that sometimes could be trial and error. So while this is going, we're going to be adding another layer going along our gray line. Not a ton of Star Trek news to talk about. I know that Star Trek Lower Decks, can't even believe I'm saying this, the final season, season 5. I'm actually kind of surprised with that, because other than Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks has probably been the best Star Trek to come out in a very, very long time. I would even, and don't get me wrong, I love Picard season 3, but I think that in a lot of ways, Lower Decks was a lot better still. A little bit surprised that they're ending the show. Part of me kind of feels like the fan base is there, so I'm kind of scratching my head at that. But then again, it would not surprise me that if they're canceling it, for them to do a live action. Now, I don't know how that's going to go if they did do that. Maybe they were testing the waters with that live action crossover that they did with Strange New Worlds. That could very well be the case. But no, I'm a little disappointed that Lower Decks is going to be ending. But I'm hoping that we'll get a nice finale for them. And hopefully won't be too long before we're waiting for Season 3 of Strange New Worlds. I don't recall the release date off the top of my head, but I know that's going to be coming. I know they've been teasing about Star Trek Legacy. That's something I kind of want to see with some slight revisions. And I also know that they keep threatening to make another Kelvin timeline movie. Whether that's going to end up happening or not, I don't know. Part of me feels like it's not going to happen. But then again, I didn't think that we'd ever get a sequel to Ghostbusters with the original cast. And, I mean, it took a very long time, but eventually it did happen with Afterlife. So I think never say never. But, you know, there's some interesting things coming up. Not to sound like a negative Nancy, I will be honest, because I'm sure somebody's going to ask, like, what do you think about Section 31? I watched the trailer, and I wasn't impressed. I don't want to sit there and be a negative Nancy. If you like what you've seen for Section 31, I think that's cool. But when I watched it, the best way I can describe it would be akin to how I felt when I watched the Willow sequel on Disney Plus. It didn't feel like Willow. And I feel the same way with that Section 31 show. It just, to me, it doesn't even feel like Star Trek. And it feels like they're just trying to cater to the general public, which I don't like that. You know, I don't get the whole thing about, you know, we can't have fan service. Why not? You know, the fans, after all, this is what you should be making these movies for. Your fans. They're the ones that pay the bills. They're the ones that keep these franchises going. You know? That's just my opinion on it. And you start making these things for people that don't care about it, it's going to end up getting canceled, or you're not going to have any more. Or you could just make it for the fans, and then through word of mouth, you'll end up getting more fans if you make something that's awesome. To me, it always feels like that's kind of how it was in the past, with a lot of shows and movies and whatnot. They earn that right to make sequels. I feel like we don't have a lot of that anymore. Everything's a franchise these days, and I feel so old saying that. But that's just kind of how I feel about it. Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. Even on the YouTube channel, slightly shifting gears, we are creeping up on the end of Voyager. Hard to believe, but we are getting there. We're on episode 70, so we've got 8 more episodes to go. Unbelievable, isn't it? We're going to be finishing up Voyager Season 1 with episode 79. So, if you guys want to see a Season 2 of Voyager, you need to let me know in the comments section. If you can do me a favor, drop a comment below. Let me know that this is something that you want to see, to have me flesh out the rest of Voyager with focusing on the interior for Season 2. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and watch these videos. I look at all those things as far as what content to put out, and that's how my videos are going to go moving forward. Instead of spinning my tires on something, if somebody ends up not being super interested in it, it'll just be a one and done. And doing it this way will be really good, because it'll give me a great gauge based off of my views, analytics, comments, likes, all that stuff. This is what I'm looking at. So if you want Voyager Season 2, you know what you got to do. Let me know. Make sure that you're watching these videos. Definitely really appreciate it. But no, even past Voyager, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up. We are slowly creeping up on 1,000 subscribers. Whenever that happens, the tutorial for the Enterprise A 2.0 has already been completed, minus just a couple of tiny things for the outside. I have to do the registration, like 1 or 2 little details. And the Enterprise A 2.0. I'll probably end up doing that the same way I did Voyager, where if I have a ton of people asking for it, I'll go heavy on the interior. If not, then it'll be very similar to how we did this. And to be fair, that might end up being the most likely scenario for the Enterprise A 2.0, only because of the amount of content I've done in the past on Constitution classes. You guys may not need it, you know? But we're going to play that by ear and see what happens. But anyway, once we get past Voyager, we're going to be hopping right into Excelsior 2 class. I'm really looking forward to that. I've had a bunch of people asking me about that. And I've recently, I've gotten back into trying to get a lot more work done on Minecraft. So I've been working on the Excelsior. I've also been working on the Enterprise D. How the Enterprise D looks in this video is not a representation of how she currently looks. If you want that, you'll have to go on my Discord, and if you go on my current builds, you'll see the Enterprise D. I've got screenshots of my current progress, but there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we're going to have for Season 2 of the Enterprise D. I've already committed to it. I'm certain that at this point, I want to redo the deflector dish area as well as the front section of the neck. And another thing that we're going to be doing in Season 2 will be the patterns of the saucer section on the top and maybe the lower. We'll see. Other than that, we'll be doing a cosmetic update to making it match up with how the Enterprise D looked in Picard Season 3, which will be freaking, I think that'll be really cool. And then we'll also be completing all the things I didn't get a chance to do with Season 1, and then also a couple other things that I might want to throw in here and there. That's all I have currently lined up. I do have other things that are going to be coming up in the future, but that's everything I have right now. So if there is any content that you guys want to see, any builds, whatever, be sure to drop a comment below. Definitely love hearing from everybody. But yeah, that's kind of what I have going on for us. I've got enough, put it this way, I've got enough content for a while. Voyager, you know, that's been done for a minute, been sitting on that after I took a break. And then the Enterprise A 2.0, that's done. The Excelsior 2 class, the outside is 80% done. So I've got to get on and do that and get that cleaned up. But what I have left to do on the Excelsior is not that much. But, you know, we're just going to bang this out one episode at a time. I don't know how, if the Excelsior 2 will drop this year. There is a chance I may not start that until the beginning of next year. But I do know this much, that if I push it off until next year, then January, 100%. That's when I want to be able to get those out, because I don't want to take another break. Just gotten back into playing Minecraft again after taking a break, so I'm all rejuvenated, recharged, and ready to rock and roll. But anyway, getting back in a little bit what we got going on here. Trying to just mess with this damn oval. We are going to get there. Some of you may not even necessarily be building out this row, and if you're not, that's okay. Really, the main thing I think that matters the most is your starting point for every transition, because that's what we're going to be working with when we come back and make our final revision on this section of the ship. All right. This, again, you know, you always want to make sure, carry on your design cues. It's the reason I'm adding half slabs on this row here. I want to make sure everything's matching up. So I'm just going in, I'm getting rid of my white concrete, or excuse me, my white quartz, and then the half slabs in front of that, and then I'm placing the half slabs where the white quartz used to be. We're looking pretty good. I missed a couple of rows up front. I'm gonna have to go clean that up. We're not looking too bad. want to make sure that cut line is the same on both sides. So need to bring that back by 1. There we go. So now we're just going to fill this in. These half slabs on the inner side, we'll get rid of those in favor of full quartz blocks. And we're just going to fill all that in. And we'll also fill in the access here in the front. And that's going to do today's episode. Like I said, you know, if you're happy enough with how the top of Voyager looks, cool. Those of you that are not, we will do one last once over. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, help me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And if you do have any questions or concerns regarding today's episode, just dropping by to say hey, or any builds you want to see, be sure to drop a comment below. I definitely love hearing from everybody. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today. So just want to thank everybody again, and I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Post your photos in the Discord.